Hi there and welcome to Bustthenet. Yes, these are the Game Changer series of shows where I delve into your saves. I get these saves from a lot of people, and I have so many Game Changer episodes to do. I'm trying to get through them, but the good news is that we are well ahead of the curve. And we have got a save in here from Miguel, Douglas Miguel, and he's managing Toulouse. I'm going to look at several things in this game. So this is a save that has just started. So we're going to look at the expectations, your board expectations. We're going to see how we assess your team versus the rest of the league. We're also going to talk about targets that are achievable. Then we're going to take a look at your players. We're going to take a look at how you've done this season and make some recommendations. And of course, I'm going to try a few games out with some of the changes I've recommended. Unfortunately, I can't sign players in time. However, I think you will have a chance to look out for players because it's November, and we will make some recommendations. Well, okay, so let's get cracking. First thing we want to check is the board expectations. This is fairly important in a sense because competitions, let's look what the board expects. The board satisfied overall across the various competitions. So it's very much the board expects you to be competitive, which is okay, not too bad. And then matches you played, wow, people are very happy with how you've done in your matches. So if you look at the match performance, you can see it from here, right? So you Rene, I think that's how you pronounce it. You beat them 4-2, 2-2. Some pretty decent. Olympic Marseille away from home 1-1. Now this is a good result. You had a player sent. No, you did not. They had a player sent off 1-1. This match that you played, and okay. Overall, I would say you are doing all right. How do we know where you should try and finish in the season? Now, it's really straightforward. Now, people always ask me, so what do I aim for? Okay, go to season preview. This is the easiest way to manage this. Okay, so season preview, the odds are 12, right? That's where you're supposed to finish. You're currently 7. You're currently 15. So you're in that zone between 12 to 15. If you're in this zone, you're never going to lose your job. If you're in this zone, you're definitely not going to lose your job. If you're in this zone, you're probably going to get offered another job. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are somewhere around here come the end of the season. So how do we get there? The first thing we want to do is we just want to get to know your squad. So this is what I normally do when I go into a team. I have my own views, so to speak. So I'm not gonna go through all the views, but because this is a first save, so I'm just gonna step through because people have asked me about the views themselves. So I'm gonna use this chance here to explain them. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to break the team down. Let's ignore goalkeepers. This is one of my biggest problems in the game. I always never focus on my goalkeepers. I've been doing some shows on Twitch, and for those who've been following me on Twitch are probably laughing their heads off because my IX team reached a point where there was no goalkeepers I could feel. I had to bring in a youth goalkeeper just to last for 2 months. Then we had to go and sign a backup goalkeeper. That is a lesson I should have learned from the season I played with Kingstonian, where I lost all 3 keepers, 2 keepers in one game. No, some people never learn their lessons. I never learned my lessons. Okay, so what do we do with this? The first thing you do is I split the team into 3 duties: defense, support, and attack. Okay, we go to defend. Now, defend duties, we want to make sure that our players have positioning, a decent amount of positioning. Here we see positioning is not that fantastic. So 11, 13, 12, 12, 13. So that's a concern for me immediately. All right, so the next step is I'll go to team report. I'll do a comparison. I'll skip the first page because this first page is very good for summary, but I wanna just crack on very quickly with this. So we look at positioning for the whole league. You are actually with the positioning we have to aim for is 14 for the whole league. You're about 12, 11. That's not very good. That means, how do you know whether this is good or bad? I hope I'm not speaking too quickly because I know English is not your first language. So if you want me to clarify certain things, please send me a message on Discord and I will get back to you. Here you have to compare positioning with Strikers and midfielders off the ball. Off the ball. 14. So basically what you have to do is you have to beat 14. So your positioning has to be at least 14. That's what you want to know. All right. Okay. What number do I look at? Do I look at 12? Do I look at 13.86? I look at 13.86. I never look at 12. 12 is like this big decoy or dummy or diversion or something to attract your eyes to. It's not important. Why is it not important? Because your squad is actually bigger than 12 players. Right, so the real squad is like 23, so they can be 25 players, so it takes the average to the first team squad. Now, if you're 12.21, you're not going to start with 12.21 for everyone, so you're looking at 13.86. Okay, so we've done that. Now, the next thing I want to do is find out what kind of defenders we have. Are defenders good enough to handle crosses inside the box? This is very, very important because it gives us an idea of what we can achieve. So I look at my defenders now. Jumping reach, 12.75. Okay, who do we compare this to? You will compare this to everybody's jumping reach first up. So you need to know, because you need to know whether you're good at set pieces, whether you have problems in open play. So here, this is all defenders in the land. So 12.75, 13 is the number to beat for all defenders. So set pieces, defenders are 13. Here, midfielders, 12, not too bad. Strikers, 15. There's one team with 15. Amiens. Wow. So some of the one team in the land has got very good jumping reach of 16. Now this may be the average is about 12 for the worst is 10 for the whole league. And we are 13th in the league. The best is 15. So we're not that bad actually, but we could improve our jumping. I would be very careful of jumping. So whenever you have a chance to play a game, you want to check the team's, the strikers' jumping reach, because this affects open play and whether your players can deal with crosses inside the box. If your jumping reach is low, then you have issues like playing low block. I mean, one of my favorite strategies in the game is actually playing low block. I get my very good defenders who can clear balls in the air, and I actually sit down with a low block. I did this on Twitch the other day. I played a game between Ajax and Barcelona, and we actually had a goalkeeper. My goalkeepers all injured, and I only had one keeper who surprisingly was really bad. I mean, his handling, his aerial reach were all really bad, so he couldn't deal with crosses. And we had defenders. So I still played a low block because I was kind of confident in the fact that we could keep Barcelona hemmed in, and we beat Barcelona 3-0 playing the low block. Now this is very risky because I'm protecting my keeper. However, I was the logic that was running through my head was very straightforward. If I played an open game, which is attacking against Barcelona, then I wouldn't have numbers back defending. So the barriers to entry to my goal will be fewer, meaning that if they attacked me, then I don't have banks of 4 stopping them or slowing them down. If I'm open play, they might only have one bank, like one line of defenders, and that's it. And then it becomes a one-on-one with my keeper. Forget it. That's never going to work. So that's the reason why I went counter fluid. And I went low block. So if you ever want to play a low block, you have to consider all the you got to put all these things into equation to understand whether you want to play a low block, whether you want to play a high block. People ask me about medium block. Forget the medium block. Okay, so we've got this set up. So we know that in terms of heading, there are a few teams that are much better than you, but we want to aim for let's aim for about 13 to 14 for jumping reach, because chances are you're not going to find a lot of players. Okay, so we got jumping reach. We know it's 14, 13. Off the ball is about 14. That's enough actually. Now, the last thing we want to check is the acceleration for the strikers. Acceleration, holy cow, 17. Oh boy, you are 14. Okay, that's fast. Midfielders acceleration 14, 15. Oh god, this is one super fast league, man. Wow, this is a super fast league. What do they eat in France? It's 15 for everybody. I haven't come across this in a long time. 15 acceleration French players must be very, very fast. The water must be damn freaking good in France, man. Because this is crazy. This is 15. Jesus. Okay, all right. Wow, that's fast. Okay, so now we know everybody is Speedy Gonzalez in France. So now you know everybody is Speedy Gonzalez in France. You got to start planning. Positioning 13, 13, 13. Not very. Okay, average positioning. Your central defenders have got average positioning. Now let's look at jumping reach. You got two. Oh, okay, this is good. You've got two central defenders who've got fantastic jumping reach. This is better than the rest of the league. Heading, fantastic heading. Marking, not so bad. 13, 12. Let's look at his age. Christian Julien, 24. Kelvin, 2019. Issa Drop is 20. Okay, what do we do? Go to his training. Additional focus. You got none. Now, what is the problem with this boy? Is his marking. Acceleration, we haven't checked yet, but I'm looking at the acceleration numbers. Now it's 16, 15, 14, 13. That's fine. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to improve his marking. All right, so we got Issa Diop as well. He's in the first team. His marking is only 12. We go to him again. Training, additional focus. Let's give him marking. Now, what about the role? How you set that tray? I notice I didn't jump. I didn't get out of here. I don't want to. Okay. We'll go to training straight away because I'm worried that you have default trainings. Okay. Now, if you have default training, it's a position they play on the pitch. But I'm a very, very asinine person. I am very specific about my training. So what you want to do here, this is playing position. So all you see, you don't know how they're going to develop. Seriously, this is a major, what I call a luck factor. So what do? Let's forget luck factor. Let's just go ahead. All right, guys. We know we need to be Speedy Gonzalez's because everybody else is a Speedy Gonzalez. Now, we're gonna work on composure. That's good. I've chosen ball playing defender intentionally because it's gonna work on some of the strong mentals, composure, concentration, decisions. If I were to choose defense, central defender, composure is gone, which is not so bad. This is a lot more focused. This is also possible. You can work on this. And the difference between this and this is we got first touch as well. So I like first touch and composure. It means that if I were to play a low block, my boys won't panic. All right. So we got a schedule. Okay, you got off to a bad start, but then you stabilize somewhat. So that's good to see. The start of the season, this could be just you not being familiar with your system. Now, friendlies, I don't like more. I don't believe in this morale friendlies. You know, you go in there for a thumping run. If you're starting out with a team, arrange 2 or 3 friendlies against comparable competition, which is teams that you expect them to beat you, to see whether your tactic is going to work. Because you only need 2 games for morale. I usually arrange about 7 friendlies to set myself up for my first game. So let's take a look at your system that you've played against. You've drawn away. You've conceded. I mean, there's a theme in all your matches, right? Keeping a clean sheet is like striking the lottery. You've only managed to keep a clean sheet once. So let's look at the tactic now. Okay, so now we know. All right. Okay, now we've looked at your players. We understand your players a bit better. Yeah. Several things. First up, this tactic may not work for your team. Why? Simply put, I'm not a big fan of tactics like this, like AM support, CM auto, because these are all. You're not very sure what to do because a standard flag. This is literally playing it safe, but it's not going to do much for you because when you play an automatic duty, okay, auto has its benefits because you can customize your role, and if it's your mentality set up there, then you kind of like can get something out of that role. Like for example, here, he's an automatic, which means his mentality is standard. Okay, so even if you change mentality, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the mentalities will become they'll become a bit more. So if he goes to attacking, this guy becomes attacking. The mentalities will all change. So this is when you play on automatic roles, is one way for you to affect multiple players with mentality changes. But the whole team does change. But Whole team can be affected, but these guys, they're automatic. I'm not really a big fan of automatic rolls. I would just be very careful of what I'm trying to achieve now. Here, I notice you got no PIs, no TIs, which is kind of okay. Yeah, but our problem has been we noticed that we're not a fast team. That we have to work rate also might be an issue with some of your players. Then at the back, you see this guy Bombande is off the ball. It's only 9. We can't expect him to really get forward and attack. So I'm gonna just remove all those automatic duties. I just want to start from a nice clean slate. Okay, so let's look at your Troyes game. Here, Troyes, they had a player sent off 2-2. Let's take a look at the analysis. Okay, now we're gonna understand why you're conceding so many goals. You are gonna concede goals with that 4-2-3-1. There's no doubt in my mind you are gonna concede because you're leaving yourself too open. Okay, so we've got Troyes here. The shots on goal. Let's take a look at this highlight. How was this chance created? So Balogu played it this way. So it's really easy for them to move you around. Okay, standard. If you we'll watch this again. I'll slow it down for you so that you can catch what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna move it to 2D classic so it's a better. Do you notice your defenders? They're like sitting like this. Like they're very narrow. What I like to call tucked in. Now, when your players are tucked in like that, it's a sign of your mentality being a bit low. Now, this gives the opposing team a lot of space on the ball. Look at how much space they have to work the ball, and your boys are all back, but the banks are not really doing. They're all tracking all over the place. So they go. This guy's got space. You got an empty man here. You got a free man here. So this guy can easily pass the ball to him. And then he's totally free to receive the cross. Yeah, this is not gonna work out, and this is not ideal. So we wanna fix that up straight away. So here again, this is your mentality affecting everything else. The ball is played here. Free man, free man, free man, free man. So I mean, I said 1, 2, 3. He can play the ball here. He can play the ball here. He can play the ball here. So these are all. And then once he's free, these guys are going to be free because you literally could see that. So you need to identify your transitions. When you see something like this, something is wrong because it's too easy for opposing teams to get into your half and create problems. If you wanted to play a 4-2-3-1, your players have to win the ball here, and you basically have to be very disciplined about how they're going to win the ball. So I lost the ball there, and it's too easy. Again, it's a goal. Let's take a look at another game. These are... Okay, let's look at Amiens, Troyes, Angers. I don't know how you pronounce that, but... Okay, these are teams, season preview. Troyes, relegation. Amiens, relegation. Angers, below you. These are games you cannot lose. So you've drawn to them... And this is not a good sign because if you can't beat these teams, you'll be in a relegation dogfight. So Troyes, you lost to them, drew with them away 2-2. You should have beaten them, but you lost. So we're gonna have to fix this. The first thing we're gonna do is you have a problem with your tactic. Your tactic is too open. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna change things around. We're gonna take a look at your players and try and understand what we can do with your team. So this tactic, I was thinking of keeping your tactic, but no, we're gonna do something different. It's time to survive and do well. Okay, so positioning, 13. Acceleration, they're good in the air. Marking is not so fantastic. They're not very fast. 16. Based on the rest of the league, your defenders aren't very fast. You only got like 16 for this guy, which is good. But we have to find out whether he can be an attacking player. Somalia 16, 12. Attacking midfield on the right. We can use him to get away. That's one option in attack. Clement Michel is a wingback on the right flank. 12 positioning is only 10, not very good. He's going to give up a lot of goals. Insiglia Celia. This guy you should keep him. He's not bad. So your left flank is a bit solid. He can go forward and attack. So he's definitely a starter. We got another player here. He's not bad. So your left flank has got enough cover. Your right flank, on the other hand, is pretty weak. And then we got Steve Yago. Steve Yago is not too bad. However, he's okay. He's a starter. Then he's not that bad. Okay, so Steve Yago is a starter. So we know you got a back. We got your back line. Your back line is gonna be the players that we just talked about. So you've got the right players in the back line. Defensive midfielders. Let's talk about players who can hold the ball and support play in attack and defense. So we're looking at positioning and off the ball. So we got now I'm gonna bring in support. So this will have positioning and off the ball. Who can do that job for you? Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 1, 2, 3. 3 players who can go up and down for you. That's it. The rest of the team can't really do it. The rest of the players are all defensively orientated. So we got this guy Alexi Bin, who's suspended. Everything looks pretty average, so he can support an attack. Then we've got another player here called Gianni Imbula, support and attack. So we've got 2 of them. This is really good news because it gives you options. There's 2 of them, and then what about a third? Because you need an option to when they get injured. You've got 3, so you got 1, 2, 3. 3 players who can control midfield for you. So it gives you the option of playing a 3-man midfield, gives you the option of playing a 2 with 1, gives you a bit more solidity, protection for your back line. That's very important. You can play a 3-man midfield, a 2 not so, because we now have to try and survive. Okay, let's talk about your attack. When we go to attack, we want to look at attack, which is off the ball, and acceleration. These are off the ball first up. Off the ball means a player can make himself available for the pass. So Jimmy Dumas, not bad off the ball. His acceleration is not. He's not going to get. The problem with Jimmy Dumas is he's not going to explode, right, and break a defensive line. So he's going to be in an AM position in your system. Okay, he can play as a Mazzala because he's got flair, he's got passing, he's got vision, and he's got some decisions. The decisions aren't fantastic. He can play on the left. He runs with the ball down the left, which means he dribbles on the left. Okay, then what else have we got? Attacking sense, we got this guy Quentin Bolsgard, central attacking player. We got Somalia, can break down the right. He can be a winger in your system. Okay, we know that we have a winger in Somalia. We have this guy is not. He's nothing. Yeah, he's not a winger. He's nobody. I mean, you have to develop him for him to become any good. Now, this guy, if you play him in a lot of games, he's going to become a superstar. So you want to train him and develop him as an attacking midfielder. Then we've up top, we've got another player here. Flair, not that fantastic. Passing is okay. Vision is okay. Decisions is average. 31 years old. He's so-so. Now let's find out if you got players who can bury the ball. We only need 1. Okay, so we've got this guy on loan who we just met earlier. Then we got all the strikers. Delort, composure, not good enough. Anticipation, okay. Strength, he can hold up the ball and he can move the ball around because he's. But the only problem with him is he cannot find the players to the pass because his passing, vision, and decisions aren't a good combination. Then we got this guy, Iago Sanogo. Passing, vision, decisions, let's forget about him because he's basically 24-year-old Ivorian that you should sell. Corentin Jean. This guy is good. Okay, you know why he's good? Because his finishing and his composure may not be fantastic, but they're balanced. He moves into channels which solves you one problem. He's always going to do that. Then his passing, his vision, his decisions aren't that bad. His passing is 12, his vision is 11, decisions are 13. So it's not a very stupid player. He's okay. He's going to become quite. He has potential. Then okay. So now we got 3 players. I got Corentin Jan and this player. So we've got 2 strikers that we can use up top. So you're gonna face a problem. Your problem is teams are gonna come at you, right? You want to try and beat them, and so far you've been conceding a lot of goals. You can play a low block, or you can play a high block. If you play a high block, you'll have a different tactic. If you play a low block, you'll have a different tactic. So what we're now going to do is we're going to go and create a tactic for you. With your team, there's certain ways we can go. I'm going to create like a strikerless tactic. Now, this has got very minimal PIs and TIs. Okay, so maybe for the roaming playmaker, more direct, more risky. The rest of the players, we're not gonna. The defensive fullback, yes, close down more, tackle harder, mark tighter, sit narrow, close. We're gonna remove mark tighter. We're gonna move tackle harder. We're just gonna keep it simple. Sit narrow because I want them to play a part with the midfielders, basically hold hands. Then we're just gonna leave it like this. Close down more, cut inside of the ball, so they will when they have options, they'll pass it to the middle. Then got inverted winger, not doing anything special. Got AM. He's gonna this is like a Engash room from. We're gonna leave him to more direct, more risky, hold up the ball. So he's gonna try and find through passes. Now question mark is whether he can do all this. So he can't do passing. He doesn't have decisions. So let's not ask him to do all that. So just hold up the ball. Can he hold up the ball? Not really. So we change him. So his Toivonen is coming in here. So he's got passing. He's got some vision. He's got some decisions. Okay. All right. We'll just leave him. Just have a few. Just hold up the ball. That's it. Hold up the ball for the rest of the players to come off him. So that's the first tactic. Then we've got another strikerless tactic. This is a 4-1-4-1. And we've got 4-1-3-2. The goal is for the first game. At the end of the show, I'm just going to run through all the tactics one last time. But essentially, what we want to do is we want to see what your players can do. Personally, I wouldn't recommend, especially if you're a new player. Don't put in TIs and PIs if you don't understand what the TIs and PIs can do. And I've seen that you've done exactly that. But now what we need to understand is how these roles and duties work on the pitch. And one of the ways in which I do it is actually to play a game. So so we are not going to go in, play this game against a 4-4-2 for Nantes. And then we'll take a look at how we've done. And then we'll share the results after a few games. And then we'll run through the tactics. So we started with this system and ended up playing a pair of 4-4-2 strikerless systems. So we had like a strikerless system. We ended up with this system then. Now, this is a good system to use if you are new to the game. Why do I say that? You're not using too many TIs or PIs. So you got very specific PIs. You got this guy because we don't want him to be a playmaker, so it's more direct, more risky passes. We got this guy playing like an Engash, but I want to simplify it, so he's just holding up the ball. We got a shadow striker arriving late in the box, but originally we had different players in these positions. We had Jimmy Dumas playing here, Toivonen was playing here, and Delort was playing there. But Toivonen got injured in the game, and then Julian. Now this is one of your problems that you have in your team. You need to go out there and get some central defenders who got good jumping reach. Because your defenders, you don't have many defenders, except for this guy Steven Fortes, who's away on international duty, which is kind of a problem. So if I were you, I would start hunting for another central defender who can play here, because right now you don't have one. You got Kelvin Amian, who's got very poor jumping reach and just average positioning. So if you're playing in this game, what you should do is go to edit search and look for a central defender here, because you can't afford to get central defenders for a lot of money. Let's put in a value of 0. Then we go to advanced, and then we add conditions like attributes. Mental, what we want is positioning. Then we want physical attributes of jumping reach. And then we want the other attributes, mental attributes. Then will be concentration. Mental attribute of work rate is good, but constant anticipation. Okay, so work rate is going to be very important. So you set these two at 10 and 10. Jumping reach is set at 15. Positioning is set at about 12. Let's see what we end up with. Okay, there is at least one defender out there, Remy Fournier, who's an amateur, but his acceleration is 6. Your senior package, eventually you'll have to bump it up to 240. So it opens up. Now you see what has happened. You got more defenders that you can look at. So you got some defenders who are interested in a transfer. You got Adalton, who's playing in Brazil. 10, he's not very fast. He can come in. Thiago Gomez is 9, very experienced defender. So this is the problem for you. So now you drop at least you drop the jumping reach down to 15. These are all free. These are all available for free. Now we've got this. We got a couple of old players. These you can start. I mean, if you have money, you can definitely go out and do something more like, okay, so let's go for 1 million. Okay, so for 1 million, there are players out there. Some of these other leagues, like asking price is 1.4, 1.1. You've scouted Antonio Carlos. Now, definitely, I would sign him as a cover. Okay, on loan from TOM. Then you got another player here. He's not that good. He's too slow. Jubal, 12 jumping reach is 15. You can get in for 1.5. I would definitely start thinking about bringing some of these players in. Some of them are too old, and you want some. If you're playing strikeless, then generally you should be fine. But I would definitely look at some acceleration, minimum 11. But positioning, jumping reach are the important ones that you want to focus on. So you need to get these. You need to get cover. So if I was playing this game, I just go and Jubal, transfer offer is on loan with a future fee release clause. So you can't purchase this guy. Unai, slow, 23 years old, on loan. I'm just looking at these attributes and I'm going, yeah, I want him. Transfer, make an offer. 775,000. He might be slow, but at least you got solid. You got some players who can develop because he's 23 years old. And then the moment you bring him in, you give him training for quickness. Now, I'm just looking at just the range itself, and I'm going, yeah, he's good enough. 13 positioning is okay. It's on par with some of your other players, but you definitely need somebody here. So we managed to win the game against Nantes, and it was we used the strikeless system. We actually used this. Because this inverted winger is going to cut this way, and the central midfielder on attack is going to come this way. You got a player holding up the ball here. This guy arriving late, and we ended up having Dumas scoring, Toivonen, and I think there was a few goal scorers. Let's just take a look at some of the goals that happened in this match. The idea here is, when you look at transitions, you want to see that final transition that gives you the assist. That is the most important transition. Okay, so we got Iago with the ball. They clear the ball. Fermin Mbale. Look at where Jimmy is. This is fantastic, right? So he holds out the ball. He goes inside. Look at this is the assist that we get. The transition itself. Mbale gets into the box, and then they clear the ball, and we've got enough bodies inside the box to score a goal. Fantastic. Works so far. All right. Second one, we put a lot of pressure on them inside the box, and we get another one working from the right hand flank. Now this was unfortunate because look at what they did to our Koulibaly. Dirty dog. We should watch this in. I was so angry when I saw this. Look at what Koulibaly is doing. So Koulibaly is here. He's here. And he's here. Koulibaly gave our keeper a headache. So I was mad as hell with Koulibaly. I was going for a clean sheet in this game. So this is our third goal. Look at what happens. Deep line playmaker. You got this boy here, this boy here. We got the split that we need. We got these two guys ready to attack the box. He plays it out to Fermin and Mbale. So don't worry when two players are so close together. Look at what happens to your shadow striker. And this is your central midfielder attack, punching into the box. The shadow striker is also coming in late. You got this guy, you got this guy. How many targets do you need? Bang is a goal. So very happy with how you guys played. So strikeless definitely can be something that you use, especially if your team isn't strong like it is at the moment. So we're hoping that your players come back from international duty in time for another cover. Well, our second game was even more interesting than our first game. You know, this time we scored 4 goals, and we actually scored our first goal before I could even settle down. It was a very good game. In terms of match stats, we created a lot of good opportunities in and around the box. We had 4 clear-cut chances in this game. Now, I don't really care about that very much because what I normally do is I come in here and I look at shots at goal. So these are our shots at goal. All very good opportunities. Shots off target, still 2 inside the box, only 2 outside the box. Shots saved. Look at the number of shots that were saved inside the box. This is what I call efficient attempts at trying to score a goal. So this is what you want to try and get. So this is like, if I see this, then I will tell you very simply, forget all the other tactics. Just use option 1, which is this one. I got a second tactic, which is a 2. I'll run through both, but you don't really need to use a second tactic. Just use this, because this is like suited for your team. And what you got to do is you got to just remember what the training that in the show, in the hot seat, I've actually gone into a lot of detail on how you should train your players. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the kind of goals that we scored for the match against Mets. So we'll go to the pitch, we'll see all the goals, and we will. I'll try and explain what I saw in the transitions. Now check this out. This is us building play from the back. Now notice where all the players are. We got Fermin Umbele there. We got this guy over here. Now, this guy, Gradel, is given the instruction of holding up the ball. It's very simple. We don't have a lot of TIs and PIs in this game. We don't have a lot of PIs. So Imbula is a CM on attack. He's got direct passes and risky passes on. He holds the ball up and he plays this lovely through ball for Fermin Umbele. They get inside the box and they score. So it's a great start. Now, when you play a right-footed player on the right flank as an inverted winger, he also will cross the ball when he gets the chance to. Now, we were unfortunate. We did concede 1 goal, which kind of pissed me off. But this is off a set piece, so I don't really get too fussed about stuff like this. This was another attack that actually started a bit earlier. This started from this point. We played the pass to the keeper. Fermin Umbele, when charging, using a sweeper keeper. We had a throw-in from this position after that. And then I'm looking at because I didn't change the set-piece routines for your throw-ins. Fermin Umbele into the box. They can't clear the ball. Again gets in. Jimmy is playing as a wide midfielder. Attack comes in. Misses. And we scored a goal. It's 4-1 after that. So I was pretty happy with how the boys played. So what I will recommend going forward is 2 things. First, look at your training. Now, your training has to be set up in such a way that you avoid a lot of this AMC. Train players in what you want them to do. If you're not sure, then make sure that they are playing in a role that improves the attributes that they are weak at. Second thing, training as well. Here is average, right? So what you want to do is you want to bump it up to high. The workload is going to go up to medium. All right, so when you go to training squad right now, we'll see medium for everyone. This means that their attributes are going to improve. Why have you got fitness? Do it for 6 months. Gets their work rate up, so their work rates will improve. So some of the players like Jimmy Dumas, we're going to be training him as a wide playmaker, because we want him to improve his dribbling. We want him to get out. Now here, what do you think? What are the things that are weak for Jimmy Dumas? Actually, his physicals. So start working on quickness, acceleration, pace go up. You'll be able to beat more players. So you want to be going through your training to improve your training as well. Set pieces. We spoke about them during the match itself. When you're playing your corner set piece routines, defend, I normally like to do this now. We got all the players in the right positions. When it comes to attack, I've got them in the right positions again. So I've got these. Make sure that your best headers are in the box. So if they're in the box, then what you're going to see is a lot of options towards goal, because you want to play your strikers attacking the box, and you want the guys who can hit the ball attacking this play, basically jumping reach and hitting. That's what you want from these guys. And you want long shots out here. You don't need this guy here, but for some reason he's there. So basically that's. And then when you set your set piece routines up, send them to you can play mix. I like to play mix. And then this one is correctly set up, and then you have your set pieces working for you. Well, basically that's it. So that as far as the roles PIs are concerned, hold up ball for this guy. That's all we need, because we want him to play the ball out to this guy. No PIs here, no PIs here. More direct, more risky. There's 2 players with PIs. Inverted winger doesn't have PIs. Fullbacks have got PIs. Why? I want him to close down a bit more. They'll be a bit more aggressive. they'll sit narrow. When sit narrow means they'll contract when they have possession of the ball, they'll contract the pitch, and because you're not such a strong side, right? So they will help you keep possession of the ball. They'll keep it in the central areas. Close down. So in the central areas, we've got deep lying playmakers. We've got Imbula there. Any one of these two gets the ball is magic. Then at the back, we got central defenders doing nothing. When DCB, don't worry about defensive centre back. Doesn't mean he's going to lose the ball or kick long. They'll play intelligently between themselves. Trust me, they're French. I don't believe I just said that. Distribute the centre backs and take short kicks for your goalkeeper. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Game Changer and you found it useful. Now, once again, when you are first starting out this game, you absolutely do not want to go mental over play instructions. I'll tell you why. Because you're being restrictive. Now, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying that once you start getting good at the game and you know exactly what you want because you can tell what attributes are required for certain things to be performed on the pitch, then play instructions become a weapon. But if you're not sure, play instructions actually become a hindrance because you do not know what's going on. So if you're just starting out the game, avoid too many. Understand what you want. So we kept it very simple here. And I hope that you can use this version of it, the tactic, to go on and, conquer France. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Game Changer. It was a long one because I thought I needed to go into a bit more detail. And I hope that you found it useful. If you have any questions, please look me up on Twitter at Bustthenet or addicted2fm.com, my website. Once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this channel. You make these kind of shows possible for the rest of the community. You guys take care. Have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.